Welcome to
Not
Pablo's
much.
Taco Shack. Can I help you?
Could I have a carne asada?
There you exactly. Like a carne asada with a side of Mexican Coke, please. I mean, Mexican Coca-Cola. Dude, we had the craziest damn day yesterday. It was hilarious. Down at not the Capitol, but it's the Capitol complex, and they had a school board meeting, which usually school board meetings are snooze fest. And for those of you who don't know what that word means, it means they're boring and everything else. So we had some lunatics that got bussed in from another city, and then about 100 female teachers that were very, very, very angry. And it was awesome. Yeah. And so here's the deal. Everybody gets to talk. They left me out. So I think I've been blacklisted.
Oh,
Isn't that
no.
funny? Literally from a school board. I'm like, dude, I've been in detention my whole life. You got to punish me better than this. So the meeting ends, and I'm like, oh, I guess I don't get to speak. So I walk out, and one of the news reporters was like, did they not let you speak? And I go, no. And she goes, you want to do an interview? And I go, yes, I do. I'd rather speak to 100,000 people than 1,000. Here's my quote that ended up in the news. I said, there's more snitches in there than a federal prison. And that's the one they took.
Oh, God, Sean, playing to the audience again, I see.
I know. Oh, God, yeah. And it was hilarious. So let me tell you what this guy did at the end of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So everything finishes, and it's a promotion video that is on Oklahoma State website. And it is literally like a 1940s Nazi propaganda deal about woke people and gay people and trans people and people that find younger people attractive, whatever the fuck that means. I don't even know what that means. We call them pedophiles. Yeah. And not one single person on there from Oklahoma. But so I've told you probably 50 times that our governor is trying to be crazy ass Ron DeSantis vice president candidate. And our guy that's in charge of the schools probably wants to be the education secretary. So it really is important that we knock him off now instead of if he gets on the national scene, God knows what carnage he'll leave behind.
That's going to be interesting. Oh, God.
I know. Do you want me to give you a little tip of the hat to India? So I was writing my speech for yesterday, and I decided to bring my lovely assistant ChatGPT on. Man, dude, it was amazing. So here's what I tell Americans. I said, if you bark orders at ChatGPT, you get shitty orders back. But if you're really polite and say please and everything else, it's like you go to a whole different level.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. It's like that video I sent you about when you type in shit into Google. It just depends on what the hell Google understands.
Right. The little kid thoughts.
Yeah. It's like me typing Oklahoma time now. It's like, okay, I'm guessing he's asking us for the time. Whatever this idiot wants, just show him the time. He might go away.
But in Southern culture, it's very hard for people to just say what they mean. And I don't know what that. Historically, I don't know what that's all about. But like if I want to say that you're an idiot, I will say, "Oh, bless your soul," or "Bless your heart," and that means you're an idiot.
I've heard that a lot.
Not towards you, probably not.
Well, I'm pretty sure someone has called me an idiot without me noticing.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, I mean there's a certain skill to it down here. And I haven't quite I think as the cities get bigger and those of us from the other parts of the US and the world move in, maybe that changes a little bit,
Yeah. So, probably should.
I did tell you how friendly everybody was to me at the Indian market. So we must be getting some play here in Oklahoma City.
I know.
Okay, so I'm at Rossi, the place you and I used to go. And I bet somebody came by my table.
Can you not call it Rossi and say Rasoi?
Rasoi. Oh, is the O a hard O?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Rasoi.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's a Hindi word.
Rasoi. Wow. All right. Well, Rossi is okay. Rasoi. I'll say it the right way. Sorry, everybody. If you don't know, you don't know. How about that? Bless his little heart.
I'm gonna leave this all in here so that they know what a crap operation I'm running with you.
Exactly. Look at what I'm working with.
My co-host
so
is adequate. is my polite English way of saying this.
He writes speeches through Chat GBT. He really does, and then he uses them. So I go and I bet I had somebody come by my table 4 times. Now, when has that ever happened when you and I have eaten? Ever?
Never. Are they just picking up on customer service?
I want to believe that's the case, but yeah, isn't that funny though?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. So I don't know what it's about.
Beside the folks staring at you at the supermarket side of it?
Not staring in a mean way, just kind of like, I think I know him. One of those deals. It's okay. The weird fame I have attained through TikTok was brought out yesterday, where people were like, "Do all these people know you?" And I said, "They're all teachers. I do a lot of TikToks for teachers." And they go, "Really? Why?" And I go, "Because this guy's shitting on them right and left, and he's the easiest guy to beat up and make a stop." It wasn't bad. So I had one other thing for you before. I know we've never even gotten into our conversation yet. So I had a friend of mine yesterday. I think I told you he's running for city council in Prairie Village. And I was telling him about our podcast, and he goes, "Ooh, I could be the 3rd villager eventually."
For sure.
Right.
All of them are welcome.
Everybody that is on city council in a village of some sort. It's where Kathy used to live when she lived in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so is it humid? Yeah, I did mention that. Yeah. Is it humid over there? Because I'm sweating like a stuck pig here.
Oh yeah, it is.
Whew.
It's really weird because we just get lightning and thunder in the evening, and that's about it. No rain. I was like, that's cool. Or maybe the city is so big that it's raining in some other corner of this city, and I don't know.
You guys have seeded the clouds, so it won't happen there. Hold on, let me turn my bread real quick. Let me turn my bread, man. Yeah.
By the way, Sean, I heard the funniest thing that I think it was by some comedian at the Comedy Cell a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how any country that's achieved equality amongst women has really shitty food.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, but very accurate. Wow. Man, that is an interesting perspective right there. Huh. Wow.
I want to ruin his joke, but he goes on to say something like, "Have you ever heard anybody meet someone else and say like, we need to get some Canadian food tonight?" He's like, "No, they had equality all the time, but the food is shit."
Okay, that's hilarious. Although in Vancouver, it's pretty damn good because they did so many Chinese nationals move there. Man, food there is delicious. Yeah, that place. That is the most international city I think I've ever traveled to, as far as like ease of access, easy to understand. Well, it's probably because they speak English, but easy access, easy to understand. But with all the amenities of like a New York City or a London or a Paris, without the sewer smell that comes with the older cities, the inevitable. Because Paris in the morning, the only way that's good is if you have allergies and you can't smell anything.
Yeah, it smells New York in the morning.
Like a used bathroom with rats.
Luckily, you at least don't have to see the guys that I once saw who were just standing with a rat and said to them, say to each other, "This rat is coming along really nicely."
Have you ever seen the rat pizza thing where he's dragging a slice of pizza at the Subway? Yeah, that is my fond memories of New York. I enjoy the place, but I don't enjoy it much. I'm aggressive enough where I could get along there. Like, you're so goddamn polite. I don't know what you would do. You would just be
Oh,
bumped into all day.
oh shit. I lose my voice by the time I reach like the place I'm going to for the sole reason
Yeah.
all I've ever said is excuse me, pardon me,
Excuse
excuse
me.
me, pardon me. And I'm like, oh my God, my throat is dry. Get me something to drink.
Oh yeah. And everybody there would be like, I don't know what's wrong with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the inevitable Italians yelling at each other that I enjoy so much there. And I can say that because I'm married to an Italian, but they literally yell at each other shockingly loud in New York. It's
That's like the part of Little Italy where they were.
yeah,
I think I was there a couple of years ago, and it
yeah.
sounded almost identical to the other part by can't remember where this was, but it was like an Indian and Pakistani neighborhood.
Right.
Both just sounded alike with people getting yelled at, kids getting whacked on the head. I was like, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. And it smells amazing in both places. That's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
part. God. Well, nothing's really I mean, politics are exciting. We're almost done here.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we've got that Hitler video out, I am legitimately concerned for the safety of teachers because it made it look like teachers were into all of this stuff. And those guys got a couple of like 30-year-olds doing his media for him.
Can you not just gloss over the Hitler video part for people listening? Because they're gonna be like, okay, what the hell are these assholes watching in their free time?
What video is it? So it is our Oklahoma State Department of Education produced this video. It's an anti-union video is what it's actually all about. And they have this lady doing a national speech at a convention. So when you're doing a convention and you're in a union, everything's pro-union. It's this at the convention. And underneath that, it's clips of this Ryan Walters guy on Fox News in the morning because he's been on like 3 times now. So, you know, because he's such a jackass. And so they would intertwine all of these with these weird, bizarre stories about teachers somewhere saying something about, but you know, it's selective editing. Just like you and I can look at a clip and go, "Oh, that was brilliant. Let me see it from the other angle." And you know, two kids look like they're fighting and running away from each other, and then the next angle they're hugging, and you go, "Ah, dang, man, come on." You know, we can make anything look the way we want. But in Oklahoma, I am legitimately afraid that this is the belief in especially in the rural areas, that this is how things are.
That is scary when you
Yeah,
realize that they're going to crawl out and vote.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing is you've known this teacher since you were in kindergarten. They went to school with you. When have they ever been okay with any of the things you're seeing right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you got to get past Fox News. It really is. It's a shame that we let Rupert Murdoch in here. Yeah.
All the countries are probably regretting.
Well, I'm sure in England it's a constant talk of why didn't we just force him to stay in Australia? But you know, he's smart. He brought money to a bankrupt business, so everybody let him in to do whatever he wanted.
Everybody is fascinated by this shit. There are lines outside the store, IKEA.
I mean, oh dear Lord, have you ever put anything of theirs together?
I have. My sister likes them, so she keeps buying stuff from them.
It's all shit, but they make some of the best like inverted screws I've ever seen. Like their designs are great, but their stuff is made from shitty material. Yeah. You know, I think I could go get lost in there and be legitimately homeless and have a good time in an IKEA store. But I brought stuff home to put together, and it's like an adult Rorschach test. You know, like literally, they're just fucking with you to see what you'll say. And I could get it together, but they had basically inverted screws, and you would, and then you tighten it and then go back 1/2 turn and all this. And I'm like, only an engineer would write something like this, because the average human, you know, for one, they don't even have the tools. You know, literally don't have the tools to put it together. But they have done well. Where are they from? Are they Swedish?
Swedish, yep.
How did you get them in India, for God's sakes? Don't you guys make nice furniture? What do you need them for?
We actually have really nice furniture that'll last over time. that you can
Right.
hand from one generation to the other, kind of like
Yeah.
England and Ireland and Scotland.
Right.
But I don't
Yeah.
know. This is like the cheap disposable shit where we don't care about the
Right.
planet, but it's fancy shit. So we just have it around the house, chuck it out
Right.
after 10 years, 5 years, whatever the
Yeah.
hell.
You want to say you were at IKEA? You guys are really, you got some consumerism madness over there right now.
Oh, hell yeah, Sean. It is bigger than ever.
Wow. We need to get back into the bacon jam business.
I know. We
I mean,
should
that
actually
really
do a
is,
batch of that too.
well, if I come visit, how about we make a huge batch and then you just can it? I mean, it's no big. What we really need to do is get somebody that already has a canning company, and then it's what's the I forget the actual word for it, but you subcontract out to them. But once you put bacon in it, we're going to lose a bunch of employees and everything else over there.
What was it? White label, private label, something like that, right?
Right. Yeah. So the private label, because I used to do it with saunas. My brother and I had a company where we did it with private saunas and some other stuff that looked really good, but they were made in New Jersey. We'd get them delivered and then we put a sticker on them and then sell them for double. It was a pretty good idea.
This shows what a proper businessman you are.
Well, here's the thing. That's the best business I probably ever owned. I needed no inventory. When people ordered them, I ordered them from them and I got them in a week. And then we had a truck of our own that we would then deliver it to them. So, it was in our own truck with our own brand, with our own really cute stickers. I mean, think about a bicycle that you spend $5,000 on. Tell me the honest difference between that and a $1,000 bike.
Branding and how much they spent on marketing.
Right. That's all the difference is. So I would go to triathlons and I had this old beat up 1980s pink bicycle. It was literally pink, a dude's bike that was pink. And somebody there every week would have the hottest, newest bicycle. And you go, we're all doing this for free. Like none of us are professionals. And you just spent $6,000 on a bike with wheels that should make you go a half a mile an hour faster. But if the guy already came in 20th place, doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. But if you bought your own stickers that said Deepax and they were really well designed, wouldn't that be so much cooler?
I know.
Right. I went to college with a guy named John Benson. He ended up really pretty famous in advertising where I'm from. And when they were making jeans with a name on it, like Jordache jeans and these other names, he literally went to a seamstress and had his own logo of John Benson made and put them on his jeans. It was brilliant.
That sounds like something petty you would do.
Oh, hell yeah. I would. You absolutely know I would.
Under that, I'll see the Levi's logo and be like, Sean, stop that.
Oh, yeah. I would in a second. But I mean, think about it. For a guy in college, that told you he saw what was coming, and think about that. That was 40 years ago. So when did that level of merchandising start in India? 10 years ago? Or is it more recent?
It would have been around the early 90s because that was the first time our market was open to foreign investment. So till then, you couldn't show up as a foreign entity if 51% of your company wasn't already held by an Indian subsidiary.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So what do you get from foreigners that makes it worth it? So one of my brother-in-laws is from Egypt. So they wanted to ship cars back then. But the excise tax was double the price of the car. And that's why everybody over there drives Mercedes and everything else, because they don't have the same tax structure. But they were the American cars, which were these big old monsters. It was a $5,000 car. Tax was $5,000.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the same here. I do not even know how we have the Ferrari, Lamborghini showrooms out here.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's like twice the cost because they are for certain not making them in here.
Right. Yeah. No. Well, look like you guys are doing good with Land Rover, though. I mean, that looks pretty solid. Yeah. Those cars are nice and they're better designed than the Brits were doing and better than Ford was doing with it. I mean, Tata, is it right? Tata Motor?
Yeah, Tata.
Yeah. That dude's
Ford,
sharp.
Ford was here for a bit, but I think they've closed down engine operations
Right. Wow.
because it was just way too expensive for what they were putting out as compared to what Hyundai and all of them were doing, which is just the next
Right.
door. And the
Right.
weird part is the one thing that James found really fascinating was the brand new MGs that were all over town. MG
I didn't
actually
even know
has
there were any. Really?
multiple fucking showrooms here, and it is probably the most popular SUV.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So my sister had an MG midget, so I used to drive it all the time when I was younger. That car broke more than any car I've ever heard of in my entire life. It was an absolute turd on wheels. So I don't even I've never seen anything from them over here, period. So maybe they're trying to. So are they able to do it cheaper there? I mean, because
I have no idea how that model works because someone was like a guy who I knew had like the latest version of one of those cars, and it
right,
probably cost him somewhere, say, around the $30,000-$40,000 mark.
right, that's reasonable.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and I was like, "Do you know what this car is?" And he was like, "It's an MG. It says internet connected or whatever it has some
right.
shitty tagline that I always look at and go like, yes, we are all aware of the internet since the early
Right.
90s. Leave us alone. You don't have to slap it on your stupid car."
Hey, Captain Obvious, the internet is everywhere.
It's almost like talking to those guys and go like, have you heard about this interweb thing that we're all using
Right.
these days? And they're like, we're going to call it internet and put it on this logo.
Wow, God.
Yeah, they
So,
didn't even
so
know it was
there's
called Morris Garage. And I was like, yeah, it's a fucking British thing.
yeah, and here's the deal though. But so when Land Rover was taken over by Ford, was the first
Mhm.
time I'd ever considered buying one because I knew the
Uh-huh.
electronic components would finally work.
Yeah.
England is just stupidly stuck with whatever that damn company is that can't make electronic components, and they just keep going like it's okay. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think that's killed them worldwide business wise. Because
Yeah.
why would you tolerate some shit that doesn't work when other countries have excellent engineers that have figured it out? I mean, just stupid. I mean, like brazenly, bullheadedly stupid.
It's probably like that made in the UK type branding that they like to put
Right,
on things.
right. It's not a
There is like,
compliment. Not
oh no, there is like this really funny bit where it's a show on the BBC called The IT Crowd. And
right,
in that, there's like a fire. So this
right,
guy runs and picks up a fire extinguisher, and he
right.
tries pulling out the pin and it falls apart and catches fire. And he turns and looks at the label. It says "Made in the UK," and he's like, "Ah, no wonder." And he puts, "I'll just put this in the rest of the fire over here."
Pretty dang predictable. I'm always amazed because they started all the manufacturing in America. I mean, really. So when they got over here, I think they had access to Germans and everything else, and maybe were smart enough to move beyond. But their
Mhm.
shit just isn't any good. I mean, it's really
Yeah,
weird. And for as much as you all used to complain, well, you still complain. The most complaining public I've ever seen. How can you have stuff that doesn't work, like a car?
I think that's what we find our exercises in the evening, where we exercise by
Yeah.
complaining about all the things that we don't like, but will not do anything about it.
while you're doing the 12-ounce or 16-ounce curls in a pub,
Uh-huh.
I'm doing my exercise now. Let me complain. That's actually pretty dang funny, Pat. You need to use that in your comedy routine. That was funny. That was legitimately funny. Sorry, I'm pulling my bread out while I'm talking to you. All right,
Nope,
there we
don't
go.
worry about it.
Irish bread, people. Irish bread, not in Ireland, but yet Irish.
Hey, that was my favorite bread in there.
It is the wheat one is no doubt. Look, the raisin one that we make, nobody makes that in Ireland. It's an American deal that they think is Irish. I don't want to hurt
Mhm.
anybody's feelings, but so we make a bread like this called treacle bread,
Mhm.
Trickle or something, and it's molasses, and so
Oh,
it's like it's a black bread, but it's delicious. It's really, really, really sweet and rich. All right, one of them's done, one's not. Let me throw one back in. Hold on.
did you hear
If you
the
hear me,
thing that Ireland is going to be the first country that's going to put warning labels on alcohol?
Oh, the
Are you
irony.
surprised?
Oh my God. The irony of that statement. Well, for those of you that are listening that are from India, first time I went to Ireland, I grew up in an Irish Catholic neighborhood in Kansas City. So I'm familiar with the level of alcoholic drinking. But you go in country, I've just never seen anything like it. I mean, I've just never seen people drink like that. It is, I mean, I know they feel like there's nothing else to do, and that is your mental vacation. Oh my goodness. Because, Brits drink a lot to tolerate what they've done to the rest of the world. But Irish don't have that excuse. They're just, man. So have I ever told you about my cousin, Jimmy the Sink? I probably mentioned him. Okay.
Jimmy
so
the
for
Sink
those
sounds
of you,
familiar.
Oh, yeah. So Jimmy the Sink, you go, man, what did he hit somebody with a sink? No. So this guy can take a 20-ounce UK pint and drink it in one swallow, just back and it's gone. And here's the thing, when you talk to him about it, you go, well, how many of those do you drink? Maybe 15 or 20, depends on the night. And what I just said there was 15 or 20, it depends on the night, just so we can translate. But he never went to the bathroom. I mean this, like, where does all of that liquid go? Because I'd just have to stay in the bathroom all night, being a middleman, just drink while I was in there and never leave. This guy could put down gallons of liquid. It's beyond me, like literally beyond me. Yeah.
That is amazing.
I know. So warning labels. Yeah, that's going to help Jimmy the Sink. Yes, you only have 20-day points when you're out now. So you will. And that's why, and you just sit there and go, I mean, the only reason I knew what they were saying is because, I was around my dad and his friends.
Today I just turned on I think it's a Netflix documentary called McGregor Forever. And it's about Conor McGregor. And I never realized this till date, that because I think there are American commentators during the matches, that when he spoke, I literally had to turn on the subtitles because I was like, sorry, I'm not getting a lot of this shit.
Right. And it's not because he's been hit in the head too much. His accent is that strong. Right. Yeah, he's a very interesting guy and typically Irish. He did very well and then overdid it and it didn't end well. Nobody seems to know when to get out. If you look at the NBA championships right now, LeBron James, his team just looked pretty bad. And he's 40 and people are like, he's over the hill. And you go, isn't that amazing? 2 years ago, he was the best player on the planet. And two years. No, he's just too old.
But with all the improvements in sports medicine, I wonder whether it's going to be like a Brady type thing where LeBron just carries on for longer than any player did.
Right. And all of us sit there and go, I swear to God, I saw $6 million man. I think he's got something going on with that $6 million man thing. It was a TV show where they rebuilt a guy. I don't know how your body sustains that level. I mean, because he probably weighs, what do you figure, close to 300 pounds. And your joints are not designed for that, especially high impact, jumping up and down, literally, and people landing on you and shit. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I would quit while I still had my sanity. That would be my limitation. Sanity.
That's the thing, right? What is enough? Like, especially for sports stars, even the times when I watch like comedians and shit on TV, I'm like, how much would be enough where you would stop and just go do what you wanted to do with your life?
Right. I think over here, I don't think we'd think in that terminology of when's enough. We just don't know when to quit. I don't know how it is over there. And, my British cousins and I have had this talk before. We have a thing in America where we just want more. And he goes, of what? And you go, everything. We want more of everything. And it's just we never get to that point of enough. But I think there's something to it, knowing when to get out, man. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm 60. I'll be 60 this year. My wife will be 62. And she wants to retire at 65 from this business just because it's hard on the body. And I'm like, okay, let's make that our goal. I don't mind. It's easy if you have a goal to get out, but when every place you go, people buy you meals and drinks and tell you how great you are and all this other stuff. Why would LeBron James not want that anymore? That's got to be addictive. I mean, it has to be. Yeah. Plus, he's 7 damn feet tall. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Is he? Oh no, I didn't know.
No, he's not. But he's tall. What I mean, he's way taller than the rest of us. It was metaphoric. I want you to explain cricket to me.
That has to be an episode on its own.
Right. I want somebody, because I want to see the difference between your explanation and my cousin's explanation, which was, well, back in the day, some of the wealthier people and aristocracy would go travel to a place so they could spend 3 days there doing business. Because if you were doing international business, it was all slow. Because and over those 3 days, you could negotiate, agree on price, agree on marriages, agree on, all of this other stuff, because you weren't just at a party where everybody danced, drank, and went home. It gave you the opportunity to do business. And that's why they took tea breaks and lunch breaks and everything else. And I was like, that makes sense. The same reason I don't go to baseball in America is because it takes that long, and golf takes that long. I can't do it.
The original format of cricket was that one. It was 5 days long, Sean.
God almighty, really?
I've actually been to one game, which was, I went on just the 4th and the 5th day, but it's like,
right.
You get to the stadium at around 8:30 in the morning.
Right.
They serve tea. You start the game at 9. At around 11, you break for tea again. Then at 1, you break for lunch, or noon, something like that. Then you come back, play for another couple of hours. You break for tea again at 3, and at 5, you wrap up.
Really? And it goes on for 5 days.
That was the original format, too.
Wow. How do you still... Go ahead. I'm just like, how do you do that for modern society who just will not do 5 days of anything? Hell, news cycles are 2 days.
Nowadays, it's very rare. Like, you'll never see that format of the game being played unless, like, India's on tour in Australia or something like that. So when they do that, they still have those. And the Ashes, which is one of the biggest test cricket things in the UK, is basically England versus Australia.
Right. Oh, wow.
That's been going on for like early times. It's one of the oldest test formats.
You would think that would basically be a bloodbath, but I'm guessing with cricket, there's no real bloodbath ever.
So that's the saying they have, right? Rugby is rowdy's game played by gentlemen. Right. And football is soccer is supposed to be the gentleman's game played by rowdies or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's probably that's pretty fair.
The reason why cricket is this popular in India and why Indians are that like violently nationalistic about their cricket team is because that was the first time they saw a brown guy hit the white bowler's ball outside the ground for a 6. It was the first time they saw that they were evenly matched, even though they were subjugated.
Right. Well, I could say that for every sport in America. Eventually, I think that is probably the most valid explanation. There, you finally had an even ground, and guns and armies and tactics were not involved. But there are tactics. I suppose there are tactics. So, yeah, it's interesting colonial shit there. Wow. I would be curious to, because we don't really have a sport that we interplay with that. The Celtic team that's in the Premier League. I'm not sure. Everybody in Ireland follows them, but I'm not sure it's us. You know what I mean? There's 3 guys from Zimbabwe. I'm kidding, but you get people from all over the world on there, and you're like, do they like the Boston Celtics? They used to be a predominantly white team. That will tell you something about America right there. So the basketball team, the Boston Celtics, rarely had black players, and they were playing to their crowd. I mean, that is, and that's my people. I have no idea why we'd be thinking we were so special, because we're all 5'9". We'd have to go import some Swedes or some shit like that anyway, because we're all too short. Two generations in America, we finally started growing because we had better nutrition. So,
Oh, I never thought of that. That the nutrition
Oh
was an
God,
issue
yeah.
back there. Hmm.
Yeah, so my dad was the same size as I am, but most of his friends were 5'6" or 5'5". Mostly
Hmm.
like you would see people from Guatemala or something like that because their diet was still potatoes, turnips, basically, which they call turnips, which are rutabagas. I don't know what you call them in your culture, but
Hmm.
rutabagas, it's like a root vegetable. It's real hard and it takes longer to cook than a potato. And carrots and very, very, very little meat. And our starts were more potatoes.
Hmm.
Yeah. You guys, I mean, you guys throw down some rice like nobody's business, but you know,
Oh yeah, all the
that's not
time.
our thing. Yeah, that's not our thing.
Like it's like the time where I went to that. It was that, I think it was like one of the chicken places near
Yeah.
Britain, and the guy knew me in there, so he was like, "Deepak, the fried chicken and the rice." And Alex thought that guy was being racist, and I was like, "No, he actually knows that I eat rice every other
That's right.
meal."
Hold on, there's one person that eats rice that comes in here. Everybody else wants fries or more
Hmm.
mash. The instant
With
mashed
their
potato
bros.
gravy is one of the better processed food items I've ever eaten. It hits every single flavor profile for people that look like me. And you just go, damn, those are good. And then you look and go, that is a packaged gravy and dehydrated potatoes. And I just said that about it. I am so embarrassed with myself right now.
Some scientist in the lab got like a huge raise when he
Oh, yeah.
perfected the addiction combination
That's
in
right.
that stupid thing.
Oh God, yeah. The salt, fat. Oh man, the perfect mix. Um,
Hmm.
All right. Well, I don't. Here's something hilarious for you. You see these things? These are plastic beer cups. Okay, they're 20-ounce ones. Look, they won't come apart. That is why my wrists are killing me because I served a little over 1,000 beers at this Scottish festival, and I had to pull each one separate from the other one. Repetitive motion. It's
Oh
just murderous.
God.
Man. That is a first world problem, my friend.
I know. I just listen to them.